Oklahoma native, born and raised in Spencer, Oklahoma. I would work with my dad outside a lot, cutting grass and hanging out. My dad didn't really have boys, and so I was the daughter that kind of hung out with my dad a lot. Fast forward, after being self-employed, probably pretty much my entire life, 2014, I go out there a little bit, just hanging out, like, I don't know. And then it just like snowballed, like one thing after another. And the next thing I knew, I was a full-fledged cemetery director, but I didn't initially think that's what was going to actually happen. It just kind of happened because I think that's where I was supposed to be.
Yeah. Okay. So what would you tell people about the cemetery business?
Always make sure that you ask, do the cemetery have a perpetual care fund? I would never allow my family to be buried somewhere that doesn't have a perpetual care fund. You always want to ask the cemetery rules. You want to know what kind of headstone you can have. You want to know if you purchase a plot, what is your open and closing going to be like in the future? When you're purchasing life insurance, you want to understand that it's transferable. And so pretty much you can use it wherever you like. And that's even in a different state. Like if you die in Oklahoma and say, you know what, I want to be buried where Michael Jackson is. Well, if your policy is enough, they might be able to make it happen. And so I always tell people the biggest thing about the whole thing is shouldn't be taboo. If you have a conversation about it real early, like no one is sick or anything like that, it's so much easier to put it away and never have to think about it again. Because, once you make those decisions, you really don't have to think about it again. Some people update their policies and stuff like that about every 10 years. But for the most part, pre-planning is the biggest thing. Once you pay for your plot, you're own it free and clear. You will get a deed to it, just like a house. Okay. You can bury in it whoever you like. So like, for instance, if you buy a plot for yourself and someone in your family has an emergency and they pass away and you want to place them in it, there's no law that says you can't. So I tell people all the time, sometimes people buy like 4 or 5. That way they know they'll all be together. And if anything happens to anybody, they can go, right there together, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay. Mm-hmm. What would you tell people about planning a funeral?
When you pre-plan, you often are going to spend 30 to 40% less. When you wait till something happen, often it's not really too late, but you're under so much stress. Like let's say if you have a blended family, do you know how hard that is? Like if you have one wife or, have another wife and you have 2 sets of kids, or for some men, they've been married 3 or 4 times. Can you imagine how many people think they knew exactly what David wanted, right? We all knew what he wanted, but it's just really not the truth. So I always tell people, we have a family planning guide and we typically give it away to people all the time. You can stop by our office, or when we had exhibits, we give it away, or you'll be able to go to our website starting on Monday and download it. But through that family planning guide, you can kind of just leave a note, tell people what it is that you actually want, make sure your wishes are going to be met. Like for instance, if you're Christian and your whole family is Muslim, well, they might want to know that you don't want to be buried at a masjid or at a mosque or whatever the case may be. Well, if you don't have anything planned and you don't have your affairs in order, you may very well be in a suit at a church, or vice versa, whatever the case may be, because you have nothing planned and you have nothing together. And also we have to look at the general wealth aspect of it. Like there's so much money that can be passed down through life insurance policies, and I don't think people really understand what that looks like. It's a great way to create generational wealth. And so when you don't have a life insurance policy, you're basically, because we all know we're going to go, so you're passing up an opportunity to leave your family money. And so that's one of those things that you have to really, 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 like when they say pay yourself first, I'm one of those people that really, really believe in life insurance. A lot of people don't realize, like if you're a grandparent, you can get a Gerber life insurance for like $6. So that's cheaper than Chick-fil-A, right? To make sure your grandkids have a life insurance policy too, because sometimes things do happen to kids. And I don't think people don't understand when you're not ready and it's time to plan and you have to immediately go in there and plan and somebody has passed away. The stress is so high, there's no telling what you're going to plan. Yeah. Versus if you pre-plan, most of everything is already planned. All your family do on that day is show up. And then they're celebrating your life. They're not really having a funeral. See, I don't believe in funerals. I'm like, we're going to celebrate that person's life and be grateful for whatever time they have. And so that's really important when you look at it from a place of gratitude and in just the time you've had with that person. You don't have to really look at it like a funeral, right? It's more like celebrating the person's life and being excited about all the fun times you had. And let's take the taboo aspect out of it.
Reflect on the memories.
Oh man, yes. Because oftentimes we have so many memories. I can hear my grandmother right now. Sometimes when I would go over her house like 12 or 30 or 1 in the morning, she's like, "Are you hungry?" And I'm like, "No, grandma." And that's just one of those things I tell people. So she's not gone. She's with me every single day. Yeah. And when you look at people as being gone, you grieve different. Mm-hmm. But when you know they're still here, they're still present, they're still everywhere you are, that person is still within you. It takes away some of the grief, and then you can actually celebrate that person's life. Because we have to understand there are some people who never get to have kids or who never get to have a husband. So even if your time is short, not, what you may have wanted, there's still areas you can find gratitude and joy to help with the stress.
Yeah. Perfect time to reflect on all those things with the family. Instead of crying, you can laugh and have all those amazing memories.
Amazing memories. And oftentimes we just want to go where our family went, right? I'm going to go to this funeral home. Or I'm going to go to this cemetery because that's where everybody in my family went. But people don't really understand what you should be doing is going where you and your family and making sure you can actually afford that. Michael Jackson had a $25,000 Batesville casket. It had music inside, but I'm pretty sure he planned that. And so I always tell that joke. And then a crazy thing about Michael Jackson and burial plots, when I have a high school professor that was in somebody's will in his family, they left him a burial plot. Mm-hmm. Well, when Michael Jackson passed away, that ain't no longer just a burial plot because now he owns a plot at the same place as Michael Jackson. So that plot, the person who bought it from him probably paid like $3,000 or $4,000. And after Michael Jackson was buried there, it was worth 5 to 6 times that amount, right?
Wow.
And so people don't understand burial plots are like real estate. As the place get full, some people want those spots. The price does increase. You can resell them. We redeed them to people. We just charge you $50 to deed it to whoever you want to sell it to. Okay. And that way, I always tell people this crazy joke, but it was this guy, she said, my husband, he had 3 plots at this cemetery and his first wife was already in one. And he came to me and he said, "Well, baby, I don't know why we would buy 2 more plots. We can just go right there because I have 3. She's like 80 years old. She said, "You must think you're a player. I ain't going there with you and her." But in his mind, he was thinking it's the economical thing to do. Yeah. We didn't get married after she was gone. So biblically, it's okay. Why do we do anything else? But from her perspective, she was like, he just wants to go in between both of us. And mind you, she was 80 years old. She was so cute. It was so funny. We were laughing. But I do think they were still planning. Even though they were 80, mm-hmm. They were still trying to figure out what that was going to look like. And he probably thought he had it all together. And he probably thought she would have been okay with that. So guess what? Had they not had that conversation, he probably would have thought, well, I already know where me and my wife is going. But because they did, she ended up buying 2 plots over there with us. And those 2 plots he left to his kids and allowed them to go over there with, their mom or whatever the case may be. But it was really interesting when they had that conversation because I don't think people think about stuff like that.
Can't pre-plan those type of things. No.
You could just pre-plan for whenever you think is going to happen.
Yeah.
But not exactly all the little small
Not all the future wives.
No. That's a kind of hard one. But I do tell men, when you have multiple families and you've been married more than one time, you have to have something in writing. Mm-hmm. It's only fair. It is really only fair. Even if you can't have the conversation verbally, write it all down, put it in an envelope, put one bank statement in there. If you have a will, put it in there. And if you have life insurance, put it inside of a box, right? And just tell your kids, if something ever happened to me, go to my room, look in the closet. Everything you need will be there, right? And then from that point on, he has no more stress because his kids knows exactly what to do in the event something happened. And it kind of just eliminates all the bickering, stress. and uncertainties that you have when you pass away, and nobody really knows what to do once it happens. It's just like, but when you do that, you don't have to ramshack your house.
Figure out where
looking
it's
for
all
life
at.
insurance, looking for this, looking for that, trying to figure this out. And let's say you want to be cremated, and let's say you've been married once before. Well, the kids may feel that the mama's cremating you for money. That may not be the case. My best friend wanted to be cremated. And that was hard for me because I was going to have her state-of-the-art horse and carriage, coming up to the cemetery. I'm the director. I'm going to take care of my best friend, right? She was like, man, I want to be cremated. I said, what? And so it was hard, but that's what she wants. And so I know now if something happens to her, that's what we would have to do.
Yeah. Well, so would you like to give any information on how to get a hold of you at Riverside Gardens?
You can reach me at 405-427-4306. You can also go to our website, riversidegardencemetery.com, or you can email me at riversidegardencemetery@gmail.com. I'm always at the cemetery, so you can stop by. Walk-ins are welcome. We have a very open, reach out email. However, you can reach us from the website. But yes, we welcome people to come by all the time to come check us out.
Nice. Well, thank you so much. It was nice talking to you, and we will talk to you again.
Okay, thank you.